give and they get. Then they run around town beating their chests like they forget. I can forget for now, but I won't never forget. No, love I feel, knowing the universe got my back. Whoa, love I feel, knowing that money gon' come right back.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. If you are here, please like, comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts from. If you want more exclusive episodes from us, like I said, we're rolling out all guest episodes to end the year. Won't be much of us. If you want to hear more from us, check us out on Patreon. The link is in the description. Joined by Cousin John. I know I was calling you Uncle John in Miami.
That's all right. That's all right. I felt like it's been a minute, bro.
I know.
Right? I mean, you were in LA for a little while, so it's cool. I'm glad to be back and rolling. We got a great guest today.
Great guest, Charlie. Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Thanks for having me, fellas. I'm excited.
Welcome to Brooklyn, my man.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ease the room real quick and make this funny. So I watched the show, and I was invested into it. You know what I'm saying? Like the producers, they do a good job. They get you emotionally invested. And dude, when you got booted off, not gonna lie, I'm sitting there at the edge of my bed, bro, like a little girl, and I'm like no. And then, bro, they fucking sent you home. And dude, we get open and honest here, vulnerable. Bro, I had tears in my eyes. I'm not even joking.
I remember you told me there was a point in the show where you were
bro,
like,
I was like, what the? I was like, no. Wow. Like looking around, but like seriously. But I just want to say thank you for coming, because like you were one of the people that I really like enjoyed watching on the show. Like you can tell you were a genuine dude, and it was like I was like, damn, the show's not gonna be the same with Charlie not here.
Yeah, dude. Firstly, I appreciate that, man. I think, you know what, when with someone like me throwing me into, you know, a show like that, you are gonna get that sort of authenticity, because the reality is, I do just kind of go with how I'm feeling, man. Do you know what I mean? And if I like someone, I like someone. If I start to feel jealous, I start to feel jealous. If I'm upset. And I guess I'm the perfect specimen for a show like Love Island, you know what I mean? Like, because you're going to get that. But that moment, yeah, man, I think that moment kind of really gave me, I remember, you know, it was the day after I'd been dumped, and I was upset, you know, I was really upset because it was so quick. Bear in mind, the time that I actually got dumped from the villa was about 3 a.m. It was about 3 a.m. that was, right? Wow. So I get back to the hotel, I wake up and I'm like, yo, what's just happened? Like, and I remember I was really upset, and I was sitting down with one of the producers. The producer said to me, look, right now, you know, you're obviously upset, and that's understandable. This is normal human emotion. Yeah. But, you know, you've just had such a moment, and you'll learn to own that moment because it was your moment. And essentially it was, right? Like within an evening, you know, the last 2 days, there's this other guy and there's this girl in the middle of it. And then it gets to this evening, the girl basically essentially says she wants to carry on with you, to then moments later by force be split up by the America vote. Then moments later after that, be dumped by my own islanders, all in one evening, not, you know, one evening. And then boom, I'm out. So I guess, you know, that moment kind of really kind of captured the country, was kind of like, damn. And I really do honestly think my dumping kind of set the tone for the season. Oh yeah. Because it was never the same after that. You know, things kind of started to get pretty intense and toxic, as some would say. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was like that was a very emotionally emotional roller coaster of an episode. And it was pretty unpredictable. I didn't see that happening. Really? Did no one see? Really? I didn't see that happening. You know, people talk about that moment where I kind of gave a speech at the end, trying to save my ass, right? Can you swear on this? Sorry.
Of course.
But fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
But you know, essentially because I kind of knew that it was going to be difficult to kind of be saved because, you know, I came in even a day later, and you know, I had Huda on one side, Taylor on the other, who were close friends of everybody else. I kind of knew my chances were slim. And then on top of that, I knew they didn't know about the conversation I just had with Hannah. They didn't know that we kind of just got a sense of closure. So I was like, well, if this is it, I'm gonna like say my piece, man. I'm gonna try and fight for it at least, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, gave it a go. Didn't work, but
yeah, it was a good moment.
Tried, man.
Yeah. So I want to get into. I know you said it was a crazy story on how you even got on Love Island. Yeah, man. So yeah, how did you get casted for Love Island?
This is cool. All right, cool. We got time to get into it, man. So essentially, I didn't get approached like pretty much everyone else did. I applied for it, and it all stems back to last year, I matched with an American girl on Hinge, right? Yeah. And we both had our locations set to Greece. We were both going to Greece on holiday, but we ended up speaking, as you do, modern day way of communicating. We started FaceTiming, you know, and we eventually met up in London and spent time together in London. And for the first time, it was like, yo, like, you know, I was 20, turning 27. And I was like, yo, I like this girl. This is the first time I liked a girl in a long time. And it was really good. We got really close. And at the time, I think we were chilling in bed. And she was like, oh, by the way, because the UK is really known for Love Island. We started it and everything. She was like, have you heard about our Love Island, by the way? It's really blowing up this year. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, whatever. And you know what I mean? Took no notice of it, just like a conversation. Anyways, after a few days and stuff, the realization set that, wait a sec, you know, she's got to go back to America. I'm going to be still in England. You know, I was already kind of like, I'd lost a bit of purpose. I was already down a bit, you know what I mean? And happy with where I was at, kind of, you know, I started losing spark in everything that I used to enjoy. She was going back to sunny Los Angeles. I was staying in fucking rainy Birmingham, you know, where it was still just raining. And when she went, we were both very upset. But when she went, it kind of like, one, not only was I genuinely devastated about the fact that for the first time in ages, this girl that I really liked, genuinely, I couldn't actually do anything about it. But it also kind of brought up all these feelings of like, I want to say like if I want to get deep about it, I think it was the first time in my life where it kind of started bringing up things that I was genuinely unhappy about myself. Like I was like, well, why can't you just move there? Maybe if you were smarter with your money, you'd be able to do this. Maybe if you were more successful, you'd be able to take things into more control. You know, maybe are you just a loser? Are you, all these things. So, and what I look at it now, I realize that actually it was just more a way of highlighting the things that I just wanted to improve in myself. Sometimes they're not the one. Sometimes they are just there to actually kind of highlight things that you need to work on. But, you know, so she went back to America. I'm really down. We're trying to still communicate. And it just gets to a point where it's kind of like, this is just unhealthy because I know nothing's going to come of it. You know, I'm seeing her. She's kind of, you know, she's in a different place in her life. The reality's setting in that it's just like kind of like not going to work out. And I think it started getting to the point where the conversations just ended up being more messy than good, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I've got to protect I've got to cut this off. So I cut it off. And funnily enough, the maddest thing is that I remember we planned I was going to come see her for Halloween, right? For Halloween. And it fell through because we just kind of fell through. By that point, it didn't work out. And it was so mad being in the States during Halloween, being at this time last year, it was crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so, you know, we cut off communication and like, at this point, I think I'm working like a sales job, dude, like commission only, like knocking on people's doors, trying to sell Wi-Fi, just getting the door slammed in my face. I'm miserable, dude. Like, I'm like, this sucks, man. I'm a loser. Like, yeah, and by the way, not saying that people working sales jobs are losers, not at all, mate. That's a hard, you know, it's a grind, but this is how I felt at the time. Of course. This is how I felt at the time. You know, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I remember it was just raining, bro. It was raining. And I just said, I'm done. Like I just texted the guy. I said, this isn't for me, man. I left it. And I can't remember if I was, at the time, I think the sales job had been done by now, sorry. And during Halloween, I was working as a waiter in a hotel. I was working as a host on the evenings and the weekdays on Bond Street in London, essentially opening doors for the very wealthy. Hello, sir. Hello, madam. Come in. And then, you know, doing my bits of modeling and when the jobs would come through. And I just remember thinking like, yo, like I was still thinking about this girl. This is going to sound like weird, dude, but like, I don't know. And I was like, what's a way, man, that kind of like, maybe I can, one, okay, I know that I want to meet someone now. You know what I mean? I know I want to meet someone. Two, the person I was just kind of like seeing was American. So I know that I kind of like the energy that an American girl has, whatever the humor. And then three, maybe she'll see me again. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'll step back into a world. Who knows? You know, I'm still kind of not completely.
So you're trying to figure out a way to come back to America?
I'm figuring out how I can, in a way, it was a combination of, meet someone, escape the world that I'm in right now, and maybe I'll be back, maybe some way I could, maybe we'll align again.
Yeah.
I'm going to apply for Love Island season 7. That's what I'm going to do. She told me about Love Island USA. It's a thing. Let me apply for Love Island season 7. And I remember it was a freezing cold day. It was rain. It was cold. I was like, I wanted to try and really make sure the profile that I set up looked proper Love Island. So I went to my cousin's house. He's got like they've got like a pool. And I wore like swimming trunks and that. Like, so I was like, let's make this proper like summery vibes. In hindsight, you don't need to do that. And I messaged a bunch of casting agents and I was like, yo, like, how can British people apply for Love Island USA? And no one got back to me. And eventually one lady did. And, I applied. She said, do you want to jump on a FaceTime call? I said, okay, sure, let's do it. Let's jump on a FaceTime call. And then the process started, right? And then at this point now, I'm thinking, okay, well, look, I was miserable in the UK at this point. Nothing was curing that. I just felt like I was still in the same hometown, the same faces, the same, every day, it was just getting me down. My mom's an Australian. I'm an Australian citizen and I needed to see my family too. So I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? Why don't I move to Australia? I'm going to move to Australia. See, I got sober, stopped drinking, stopped smoking. I moved to Australia and basically just kind of started there and kind of just got out of the environment that I felt was holding me down type thing, Went to Australia, was just training. And as the months would go on, I got over this girl, but all of a sudden, Love Island USA is kind of getting closer and closer. I'm like, shit, this is a thing now. This is actually happening. Like, this is actually on the horizon, And I remember this is why I now believe in manifestation. There was something I just felt it. I felt it was going to happen, man. I felt, everyone was saying, so what's your plans? And I was like, well, I'm gonna try and get on Love Island USA, man. Like, and they're like, oh, okay, well, look, if this doesn't work out, I want you to know that it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? And it would just go over my head because in my heart, I don't know, it was more in my stomach, dude. I felt it in my stomach, not my head. It was like, I'm gonna get on it. And it sounds crazy, but while I was in Australia, it's sunny and everything. Every day I'd like manifest just walking into the villa. And the lamest thing is I'd always listen to Sugar by Maroon 5. Yeah, that would be like my summer, No Lie by Dua Lipa, I think, and Sean Paul, man. It was just summer music. I just envision it. And I was working like 3 different jobs again in Australia. The plan was if I didn't get on Love Island, I was going to move to Sydney and model and act there. And I remember I was working in a coffee shop, running coffees. I got fired from that job because I didn't have enough hours. And it was getting closer to the time where I should have found out. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? This is it now. I'm not going to get another job in Adelaide. I'm going to wait now and see a verdict. I've just got fired from this coffee shop. The next day I got the call, you're going to Fiji. So, but I've kind of condensed it. I'm sorry if I haven't articulated the story as long. I've got to be honest, to condense it, that there was so much to it, mate. I just remember being like, the days of just, walking around Birmingham and Coventry, knocking on doors in my heart and head, thinking, how far away this world was from me, America, just everything. And then to actually get on the show, being just this lad from this random ass town in Birmingham, applied for Love, which happened to be the biggest show of the year in the United States of America, the most, famous country in the world, all because I matched with a girl on Hinge who at the time I felt was the girl that I was supposed to be with. Now, I think it's evident that it was more just a pathway, bro. Like, not saying she wasn't, because she's a lovely girl. She's a nice girl. There's nothing to get, like, it just so happened to be the change of course. Like, you know, and I don't know if that story's mad or whatever. I don't think it's too crazy, but when I've explained it to people, it's a bit different than just getting messaged on Instagram saying there was an actual reason to it.
Yeah.
How come it was just we both were going to Greece around the same time.
Everything happens for a reason, bro. Everything.
Do you know what I mean, bro? And that's where it really trips me out, bro. So even moments like this where I'm sitting in front of you two, I was just saying, you know, you guys would pop up on my algorithm. Just being in America for Halloween during Halloween weekend last year, I remember I was washing up forks and knives, working as a waiter in a hotel. And I remember the manager hated me. He was just an older guy. Do you know when guys just don't like you? They just want to give you a hard time. I remember just thinking, what the fuck? Like, this is shit, dude. Just driving back in my car, just miserable, bro. Like, you know, and I guess if anyone can take away from it is, you know, like, man, so much can change in a year. But I genuinely do believe while I was in Australia, not to go too off, but I went up, the guy that owned the franchise of coffee shops, he's not the guy that fired me, by the way, but he was a successful businessman. And he said to me, you know, I don't really believe in luck so much. I believe in being prepared and ready for the right opportunity. Now, obviously, if you win the lottery, that's lucky, right? But being prepared, I genuinely believe, had I have not gone to Australia, had I have not gotten sober, had I have not, you know, put myself in the right environment and taken the right steps, then maybe it wouldn't have happened, but I genuinely did, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's what led me here. We got on the show, we're here, you know, so it was surreal, dude. It was surreal, you know, to go from just applying in my bedroom, you know, on a cold winter's day around this time last year in England, to actually walking through the villa as the first bombshell. You know, people talk about winning Love Island. Dude, the real win was being on the show, man. The real win was actually getting out of that little dark phase that I just so happened to be in. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of it. I've tried to articulate as well as I can.
No, you did great, bro. No. You know what I'm
trying.
going to say? The butterfly effect, bro.
Yeah, butterfly effect. Yeah, you ever seen that movie?
No.
It's just how, like, the movie's amazing, yeah, but it's just how, like, one thing can lead to something and the two didn't really have anything to do with each other.
Hell
like,
yeah.
in that moment, like, you matching with that girl on Hinge, in a way, all the way down the line, you got on Love Island because of that, in a way.
No, that's exactly it. That's the weirdest thing. So Hinge, if you do want to work, baby, I'm here. Let's do it.
But I would love to know how it felt when you got that call finally.
Oh man, so this is even crazier. And I've just had a full circle moment in Utah. So when I was really down bad in England at the time, I remember, man, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be real about it. I went out because I was really hiding away, and I was like, I'm going to go out. Why can't I go out and have fun? You know, everyone else is out. I went out and I had a drink. The alcohol didn't agree with me that night, man. It kind of sent me in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, it wasn't, I was happy for about half an hour. Then all of a sudden I just felt this urge to cry. It was really weird, man. It was like, well, it's a depressant, isn't it? And I remember I broke down a bit the next day, you know, hangover, anxiety, general feeling upset. I broke down a bit. And what I was like in the evening later that day, and this song came suggested to me on YouTube, man. It was called Maxed Out by Baker Blankenship, a country artist. And fellas, this song, when I tell you, every lyric resonated with the situation I was going through. I attached myself to this song. I listened to this song every day. The day I found out, fast forward 6 months, different situation. I've just got the call, you're going to Fiji, pack your bags, be ready in a few days. I jump in the car, I've got tears in my eyes. I'm like, I can't believe it, this is happening, man. I go on a drive, a happy drive, I'm buzzing. I click shuffle on my phone. The first song that comes up is that song. And it was this weird moment, man, I kid you not, where it just felt like life was saying, told you, man. Mm-hmm. Just chill out. Mm-hmm. It was always going to work out. Just relax. Because the last time when I discovered that song, I was in the worst way I possibly was. Now it's just come on, the happiest I felt because I've just achieved this goal that I set for the first time in my life. I think that was the first thing I ever achieved. I said, I'm going to do this, and I did it, right? And I got it, man. And I just remember taking that drive, feeling like the highest I've ever felt, man. And just feeling like, okay, this is it now. And just being excited and ready and just, yeah, man, like if you've ever achieved something that you set out to achieve, it's a great feeling, man. And that's what it was. But that song, I ended up meeting the artist at a country festival in Utah,
wow.
man. Yeah, bro. And I told him that, man. I had that moment and I'm looking at this guy thinking, dude, you don't even know, man. Why, just like how much this song, and I told him a bit. I fanboyed out, man. Like
I
was
got chills
like,
just as you were telling that story a little bit.
yeah,
It's crazy.
bro. Like, and you know, so I take a photo with this guy, and I'm like, just a year ago, I was listening to your song, sad as fuck, like in my room, and now I've just met you and got to watch you live in like the VIP bit at this country festival in Utah, man. Life's a movie, baby. It's crazy. Yeah, so that's what I did. I went on a happy drive, and that weird moment happened, and
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is it that you were, I guess, struggling with, and like the mental, you know, the mental aspect of everything prior to this? Because obviously you seem like you're in a much better place now.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, but what was it that you were struggling with?
bro, honestly, I just think it was a lot of regret. I think, you know, I just turned 27. All of a sudden you see your 30s on the horizon. You know, you see a lot of things about, you know, other people telling you, oh, this is what you should be doing with your, this is what this and this and that. And a lot of just being disappointed with where I was at, you know, all of a sudden I started to dislike myself. And actually through that process, this is something that I would say that I'd never said before, like, because I just never wanted to make it a thing. I think people think that it's kind of a thing where people try and say, oh, it's your personality. Through that process, you know, I was looking at, you know, traits of like feeling depressed and stuff can be untreated ADHD. So I actually, through the process, I went through a clinic and I actually got diagnosed with ADHD. And it's not something that I go around being like, oh man, it's my ADHD. You know, I don't, because I actually think it's held me back in life. Mm-hmm. The normal things, you know, being at school when I failed every exam, not necessarily maybe because I didn't have the ability academically, but because the actual feeling of sitting down for longer than an hour made me feel uncomfortable. So I'd act out and then I'd get kicked out of class and, you know, and I think it all goes back to that. But I think it was just a lot of, you know, a lot of disliking myself and stuff like that, man. And just kind of, you know, being annoyed and just a lot of calling myself an idiot at times, you know, but it's bad. You know, they say positive affirmations is powerful, but negative, talking to yourself negative, man, like that's terrible. And, you know, there's ways to get out of it, man. You know, there's ways to get out of that, man. You do just have to, you have to just put yourself in better situations and respect yourself more and just know that, again, the age thing is bullshit. The age thing is nothing. You know, you should not be defined by a government giving age a number. You age with experience through life, and times are different now as well. I think our generation and younger, we're very youthful in soul and spirit, hence why 30s now is basically still your late 20s. It's all the same, do you know what I mean? It's really not a thing, you know. I think in our society, we have that room to kind of be youthful and young. And, you know, if you're a creative as well, you know, it's always just going to be who you are. But I think a lot of that, mate, just, you know, being disappointed with where I was at, a lot of regrets already. And, you know, and just being like, also, mate, like, you know, I hadn't had a relationship before. And I was thinking like, yo, dude, like, what, am I the problem? Like, is it me? Do you know what I mean? Is it, am I the situation? Why am I, do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on now? Do you know what I mean? And I know this, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not, you know, saying that I've always tried to date seriously. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think it was just a combination of that, dude. And it was like this weird little phase of like 3 months that were just kind of like a big challenge, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, you can get over it, man. A lot can happen in a year is what I've learned. Yeah. You know, you can really change within a year.
Would you say Love Island saved you?
Bro, yes. Don't get me wrong. I think I saved myself as well.
100%.
I made the moves. I took the step. I took the flight to the other side of the world. Yeah. I went and worked with, you know, people on the other side of the world, random jobs, doing this and that and taking that risk, you know, but yeah, man. I mean, we could say it goes back to matching with that girl on Hinge.
Yeah.
Dude, before her, you told me you're going to go on Love Island. What? Love Island? Why would I be on Love Island?
Love Island USA.
Love Island USA.
You know what I'm saying? He's
USA,
from the UK. You know what I mean?
Bro, everyone, in hindsight, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love this country. The people are so cool. The people have been great. You know, and yeah, man, it's just 100%, bro. Love Island USA, all the producers were great. They believed in me. And you know, they've been great after as well. The aftercare is great. Yeah, man. Yeah, I could say Love Island low-key saved me. Yeah, man, in a sense.
Go ahead.
No, I would just love to know, like, first of all, you grew up in London, right? You never lived in Australia before?
I was in Birmingham, which is 2 hours north of London.
London, okay. So I just would love to know how difficult it was. I'm friends with Harry Jousey from Australia.
Yeah,
Great guy. And I haven't had the chance to sit down and talk to him about what it was like to move from Australia all the way here. But I would love to know what it's like, just like knowing that you're a little anxious and you were depressed. I could relate with that 100%. I would just love to know what it was like to go from your hometown to the other side of the world, to Fiji, to America, and back all over the place.
Bro, you know, it's really cool that you like taking that into consideration as well. Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because I don't think people have realized as well what this year's been, man. I've literally jumped from continent to continent, man. You know, I went from England to Australia, which was its own little journey in Australia, you know, the grind, the working and the different jobs. And then going from Australia to Fiji, and then really from Fiji, I went back home for 5 days, went straight to America, and I've been in America ever since, really. Like, I am tired, man. Like, I am exhausted. I think jet lag is completely just, it's weird now. I think I've confused my brain eternally. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, super weird, bro. And it feels surreal that it's all just happened in 1 year. Mm-hmm. That's what's surreal. It feels like a bit of a dream. Australia feels a bit like a dream now. Like, just a moment of this. Yeah, it's weird. And it's kind of crazy, man, but it kind of feels like life's starting now. But it's also pressure now. I've realized there's a pressure to it now, because now I feel like I've got shit to lose. You know what I mean? Now,
but pressure is a privilege. So when someone told me that one time, and it stuck with me so crazy, that pressure is a privilege, because it means you're in a place where what you do matters.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then the other cliche is that pressure makes diamonds.
Or pressure bust pipes.
So it really depends on, and I feel like you're living up to it, bro. You know?
Yeah. I think now, you know, now is the real journey, you know, because let's be real, like, I didn't come out like some of the other guys with, let's say, 1 million or more followers getting the biggest brand deals or whatever. So I'm not necessarily set up just like that. In a way, I'm kind of on that borderline where I've kind of, you know, I've had a taste. You know, by the way, my background is in acting and modeling and stuff. So that is what I want to continue to pursue out here. Yeah. But in a sense, it's kind of like a whole different journey now. You know, now, like I say, there's more to lose. You kind of like, because there's this following and, you know, there's these opportunities that you see. And now I think it's like a real, you know, play the cards right thing. Now you know, you can't afford to mess up now. That's what it feels like now. But before, when I had like, not that followers is the main thing, but just to put into perspective, like 4,000 followers, never really kind of been in the, you know, these opportunities before, had a taste of, you know, it's kind of like, well, whatever, dude, let's just go for it. Let's go crazy. Now it's kind of like, damn, well.
What was it like coming, because you said you, from Fiji, you went back home for a couple of days. What was that like, going back to your hometown? What was the reception like from your friends, from your family, from walking into a coffee shop to get a coffee? I'm sure you couldn't, you know? Now you're famous.
Yeah, man, it was surreal, bro, because bearing in mind, I hadn't seen my mom, dad, and my, like, you know, cousins for like at least, I think, maybe 6 months, because I moved to Australia. So I didn't have that little moment of being with my family in the living room just before I went onto the show. I literally had to do it all by myself, man. Point. You know, I went straight from, you know, I just went there. So yeah, we were FaceTiming and stuff, but my mom saw her son go to Australia and then go from Australia to this crazy show, man. She was probably terrified, dude. She was probably terrified, but, you know, it was crazy. Being back home is always crazy. You know, in my town as well. I've always been like, you know, my dad owned the fish and chip shop right on the high street there. So I was always working in the fish and chip shop. I've kind of, that's like my home, but times are changing now. Unfortunately, my grandma, my yaya in Greek, but she passed away just 2 months before I went into the villa, man. And that really was difficult, man, because that was a lady that, I would spend every Sunday at hers. She lives 1 minute away from the family home, you know what I mean? And that was hard because I couldn't go back for the funeral, man. There wasn't enough time and I couldn't really afford it, so that was brutal because I remember telling her just before I went, I've applied for this American TV show. I don't think she fully understood the context of the show, but she just said, she knew I'd been feeling down and she said just make sure, you go for it and do things right. And, that was that, man. And yeah, bro. And, we went to, and then I just did the show. Sorry, you said about what it was like, but sorry, bro, I lost track of the question.
You're making her proud, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy, bro. And then, so it sucks because she passed away. So going back was kind of sad too, because, she wasn't just on a seat in a house. I went and saw her grave. I actually went back and I went and saw her grave. And I don't even feel like I've been able to mourn her properly yet, dude. Like, do you know what I mean? It sucks. And so that was sad because she was an integral piece, man. We come from a Greek household, it's very, I only moved out at 27. Mm-hmm. But there was no pressure to, and I don't feel any shame in that. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, did I feel shame in that? Yeah, I would have said yeah, but there's no shame in that. There was never any pressure. I live right next to the train station that could let me commute into London and Manchester for my own work. I made my own money. What's the rush, man? I live with my family. I live with my brother, my grandma was a minute away. Every Sunday we go there. That's just our house values and we like that, But I knew it was time to move out, what I mean? It got to that point, but so that really sucks. And now things are changing and people are moving and that hometown isn't going to be the hometown anymore. So it's kind of, everything's changing. Yeah. Everything's changing. Yeah. It's that point in our lives, isn't it now, where we're kind of in our later 20s and
that's exactly when it happens.
It all changes now, doesn't it?
And like that.
Just like that.
You don't get any time to sit in it and realize, oh wow, things are changing. It's like, it feels like one day you just wake up and shit changed.
Yeah.
And
it's like, when we were younger, we would look at the people in our age now or even older than us, and we wouldn't even we couldn't even process what it looks like to be there. No. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like job and family and career, and then people move and people die and this, you know what I'm saying? Like when we're just young and all we got to do is homework and go play on the sports team and hang with our friends. And then but before you know it, now you're in it.
Yep.
You're like, whoa, I'm actually in it right now. And there's so many times throughout our days and our weeks and our months, we kind of just go through the motions and we're not even fully aware of what we're actually doing in those time periods or what's happening around us. Things just happen. And then we just have to, you got to keep going, right? You can't, you can let it affect you, but if you have, something to lose, you have someone to make proud, you have to just go through it. So sometimes it's hard to mourn or grieve parts of your life or people and stuff because life just doesn't stop. And it's so weird when you can finally just sit down sometimes and be like, what is going on? How did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I get here? I say it all the time, just life is wild, dude.
Crazy.
It's so wild. You're so right, bro. You're so right. You grow up and you realize your parents were just human beings that had to make their own decisions too.
Dude, they're just big kids doing it for the first time.
We're all doing it for the first time. This is the thing, man. And that's what I think people need to take away and listen and tell themselves, yo, man, we're all doing this for the first time. We're going to mess up. You're going to make a mistake here and there, man. That's okay. Damn, I've made mistakes even since coming out of the show, man. And we can get it's an ongoing thing, but yeah, dude, I'm really sentimental about childhood. Do you know what as well? I just feel like the early 2000s were just a good, it was just good. Bro.
No, the best.
We kind of had that beautiful in-between bit where we still knew what it was to put a videotape in.
No, exactly.
And then, but also kind of, we're not too old to completely not understand how to, like I'm not completely texting like my dad.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? With the one finger.
Yeah.
We did. So yeah, 100% agree with you, bro. It's wild. It's crazy. You kind of, yeah, man, like what you said about it just carries on. This is, I think, things that I think you have to accept that in reality, man, like, everyone's going through their own shit, right? Yeah. So like, you've got to learn to be able to love yourself and be able to like look after your own self, man, because, the world does keep spinning, life keeps going on. And that's why I do believe it is about being positive in the present moment. Don't dwell on the past. I'm a big dweller on the past. That's what I've had to be teaching myself. But also don't panic too much about the future. Something I also do, but I also have to learn, do you know what I mean? So that's I think the key to life, man, of being content.
I seen somebody say something the other day that resonated with me pretty crazy. And I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but it was kind of based on what you said. Don't worry about the future too much because life is one day. If you think about it.
Yeah.
If you have a good day, you have good life. Right? And that's literally what it said. It said if you have a good day, man, you have a good life. You can't go back and you can't go forward. You can look forward and you can look back, but at the end of the day, you're right here, sitting in the seat, living and breathing right now. So if right now is good, then your life is good. And if the next day, but I guess it could also be if you're having a bad day, but that doesn't mean you're having a bad life. So it could work. You know what I'm saying? It could go back and forth. And just sitting here and thinking about that, knowing through conversation how you were feeling before you went on the show and then you got that call, I would love to know how you felt. I don't know how long the show was, but I would love to know in the beginning of you being on the show where your mental health was at and how it went as you progressed through the show with no phone, with not knowing how the edit looks, right? Being around a bunch of people that you've never been around before, coming from this like kind of dark place that you were in, and now you're finally, in the sense that I'm getting, that you were going up like this. What was it like to finally get on the show?
Yeah. So, by that point, I was good, man. I'd worked, I was in a good place, you know what I mean? When it comes to meeting new people, being in new environments, it doesn't scare me. I've always been, I solo traveled. Yeah. It was just that phase in my life. It was, I think, a life-changing transition which most human beings go through. Yeah. So, I wouldn't say like I was, going into the show in an unhealthy way at all. I was completely cool. But of course, as any other human would be, you're excited, you're nervous, you don't know what to expect. You're in that hotel and you're like, okay, I'm here now. This is it now. At some point, I'm going to walk through those doors. I'm going to be around a bunch of people I don't know. Could I be I'll be honest with you, the main thing is when I was in there was like, damn, I don't want to go out first like that. Like, I don't want to go in and then just completely not have, anything go down and then leave. Like, that's what was on my mind when I was first in there. When you're actually in there though, like it's crazy. Like, it is crazy. It's a whole thing, man. Like, as a guy, if you make a move on a girl, that can be quite a ballsy thing at times, right? To lean in for that kiss, then you got to do it on TV with the whole nation watching you. Then she could potentially reject it. Anything can happen, vice versa. Yeah. But everyone's in there, when I first had to do that baseball challenge, my first challenge, I was like, am I doing this, mate? Like, I've got to like look all sexy and do all this and that. And I felt like, oh my God, this is mental. But everyone else was in it. And what you got to understand is if you do something like that, it's out of your control now, brother. Let the universe take control, enjoy it, have fun. You're in there for a reason. You're in there for your personality. People are going to watch it. If you do think about what the outside world is thinking, you're gonna look uncomfortable and they'll see that. You will look visibly uncomfortable. You'll feel uncomfortable. You don't want to feel uncomfortable in there. My things was just like I say, my emotions were just genuinely part of how I felt due to my journey in there. It wasn't like anything of like, I was depressed being in there or anything like that. It was just, okay, so I'm going through this thing with this girl now. Okay, now she's here. Okay, now there's this guy here. Now this is going on. Now, And you know, it's crazy. So it's a whirlwind of it's like an emotional roller coaster in there, man. But it's an experience, dude. It's like the most craziest experience. Yeah. I remember walking in, and like that's when I had that moment. I looked around at this big villa and I thought, you did it, bro. You actually did it. But all these cameras, and I was like so nervous, bro. Like, you know, but just, yeah, I think natural journey. And then once I was dumped, I was upset. It was like the different stages. The first day I was really upset. And the second day I was angry they voted me off. I was like, what? They voted me off? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they see it like, then the third day was like, nah, they got to send me back in. Like there's 5 different steps, like, you know, but they got to send me back in. Then eventually I got my phone back. Unfortunately, I started smoking again. Yeah. I was like, because bro, I got dumped on the Sunday and after sun was on the Friday. So I had to spend like my week in the hotel. I was just like, yeah, I'll quit again, whatever. But didn't quit. Yeah, worse than
I'm
ever.
a smoker, bro.
Bro, worse. You know what I mean? And I'm
no
sweating.
phone in a hotel in a random fucking place, and I can't talk to nobody. Yeah, all right,
bro.
No.
And I swear the vapes in America are so much stronger. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious because I'm like, it's bad. But yeah, and then, you know, you get back home, you get your phone back, you see, well, in my, from my experience, which I'm grateful for, there was a lot of love and sympathy rather than hate. And it was great, but you know, but these feelings that you develop in the villa, just as quick as you gain them, they go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So what, because like the first night you came in and then you had like the opportunity to go to the hideaway, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to pick, and you picked Shelly.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Shelly?
Well, I think I said in there the kiss was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I said in there that the kiss was good, but like I don't want to speak up because that's Ace's girl and stuff now. So it's a different situation, you know what I mean? But at the time I was like, you know, you don't know, you just, the blindfolds are on and, it's like you can only go, in that situation, you can only go off a little bit. You know, there's not much to go off. Do you know what I mean? You can't like, it's not like we just had a conversation. So you go with it and you do that. And yeah, so went to the hideaway, didn't sleep at all. No, it was horrible. I was like so stressed out. You know, I was like, well, you know, bro, you're so stimulated. You just done this big filming thing. You're in the villa. Yeah. I'm looking, thinking, yo, this is mad. This is so new. You're so stimulated. I'm in bed with a stranger that just, you know, and then there's cameras everywhere. There's you know.
Did Shelly sleep?
I think she might have slept. I think she slept. I think she was cool, bro.
Yeah, she was. Right.
She was a little. She got her feet wet already. She was already there.
She was already in there for a day. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a day makes a difference, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So she was in there. I'm just in there thinking, damn. I'm like, yo, you're here now, buddy. You gotta do your thing. But she's great. She's a great girl, man. But yeah, so you know, you go in, the environment's crazy, all these lights, because as well, you know, America's got to do everything bigger and better, right? Yeah. So in Love Island, UK, we've just got a villa and it's like a bit whatever. Love Island, USA is this mansion of lights and colors, and you know what I mean? It's like it's incredible. It's incredible, like, but you're overstimulated. You know, I didn't sleep. You know, sleeping was difficult. I've always, but I don't know about you guys, man, but I've always been the last one to fall asleep and first one to wake up type guy, which sucks in there because you kind of got to like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so yeah.
What I know, like you said, as fast as the emotions come in, they go once you leave, right? And not to beat like a dead horse, but like, if you had to put yourself back in those shoes, like that entire Hannah situation? Because it seemed like it did affect you. It didn't seem like you were faking how you felt on the show. It looked pretty like raw.
Yeah, like I say, you know, with me, I think you are just going to get that raw, like you are going to I'm just going to be real with my emotions. You know what I mean? I think, you know, you can try and pretend to be nonchalant, but you're going to see straight through it. You know, I understood the situation. I couldn't sit there and tell someone, oh, you can't go explore someone else. You can't have a kiss with someone else. You know, she's not my girlfriend. But I'm allowed to feel a type of way about it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how I'm going to feel. Do you know what I mean? And, but yeah, like that situation, like, you know, I mean, what about it? What about it?
Like how, like, I don't know. How do you like, if you had to go back or if you're putting yourself back in those shoes, like what was actually going through your mind during that whole Hannah situation? And then
All right.
you leaving and then watching her with another man after you guys were just like, we're locked in.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm always one of those people of, like I say, because I feel like I will do things so raw and organically in there, you're going to get, you know, what you get is what you get with me. You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, I didn't do anything differently. So, you know, what you know, that's what I wanted to do at the time. That's what I wanted to do. In hindsight, if I was looking at it like a tactical way, maybe I probably could have tried to speak to Iris more or something like that at the time. She'd just come in. But in my head, I was like, no, I don't want these bombshells to break up what I'm getting with. Right. I don't want to let these bombshells win and break up what I've got with, you know, but it worked with, you know, with her obviously. And essentially, at that time now you're kind of in this situation. It's a weird situation because, you know, you're in this like a triangle. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird triangle, like where, you know, and look, man, as a guy, like the next day, did I want to go and make her breakfast? No, bro. Like, bro, me and Jeremiah were cracking up because we were like, damn, is this how you got to do it in there? Like, she gets to go make out with a guy and I've got to cook a breakfast the next day. Like, dude, this sucks. You know what I mean? What I wanted to do was be like, hell no. But, you know, like, she's in there herself doing her thing. And, you know, I'm in there as well. But, you know, I didn't think it was I personally felt like, you know, I was doing my thing, but, you know, I didn't know what that evening, I felt it was going to be a normal coupling up. And I didn't know where her head was going to be. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We can carry on or?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't know where her head would be at. So I didn't know what was going to come. Then we had that conversation and it was like, wow, okay, this is, you know, we were like so ready to this. I was like, this is it. This is so Love Island. Pardon me. I was like, this is so Love Island, man. This is what it's all about, you know? But then, yeah, that happened. And, you know, in terms of like seeing what happened after, does it feel good? No. Like 100% no, because it's not even like, you know, I was there. You know, I was completely taken out of the picture. Do you know what I mean? But then I do think, guys, as well, I do think, what happens had I have stayed there? What about if that started going down while I was in the room still? Because I would have had to sleep on a single bed, you know, so it could have been even more like, maybe it would have been even a rougher journey had I have stayed another week, you know? So in a way, everything happened the way it happened. You know, would I have liked to have pursued, you know, gone down there and met someone? It would have been phenomenal. It would have been great, you know, to actually meet someone in Love Island and like have this longer journey. Yeah. You know, do I feel like it was cut short? Yeah, of course, man. But like that moment kind of created something and it takes two to tango in it. So like she was in it, but, you know, but there was nothing after, like I say, you know, after something like that anyway, I was like, nah, dude, without sounding like a dick. You kind of just the DMs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you came pretty prepared at the reunion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you came with your shit together.
Yeah, bro. Like, so, you know, I was aware the reunion was going to be my last chance for that season to kind of say what I had to say. You know, do I felt like I was wrongly voted out? That's what I felt like. I wanted to say what I wanted to say. For some reason, everyone thought I still wanted to rekindle things with Hannah. The way it looked, it wasn't like that at all. We've never had that conversation. It's never been a thing. It never was. After that, it was done. It was just done. Do you know what I mean? So, it was just a moment for me to kind of, you know, be like, you know, also people need to understand, if people aren't going to voice their opinions in there, you're not going to have a show. Everyone would have been cussing out the reunion as well, saying, well, that was, you know, whatever I like. I'm not going to sit there and just not say what's on my mind at the reunion. I'm going to at least say what I've been thinking, you know. And then, you know, you see people saying, oh, as if he's still not over. No, guys, it's not like I'm walking around day-to-day life thinking these things, but I've got to revisit where I felt and how I felt for that show, for the reunion, right? You've got to express how you feel about the way things went down. Otherwise, you're not going to have a show. So yeah, man, came in, you know, and then did my thing for the reunion, and the reunion went well, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like you, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Really just you and Jeremiah kind of really came with the facts and got your point across. Austin had his showing on the reunion, which is pretty good. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, yeah, Ace was, you know, he said what he had to say, but I think Jeremiah really showed the world like that he's not just gonna like put up with that anymore, because I feel like he got done pretty dirty on the show.
He did, man. I mean, a lot of people kind of did in a way, didn't they? Like people got like it was probably the most bizarre season of Love Island ever. Like in Islander votings, people getting voted out by their own Islanders. You know, I think Bella's dumping was the only traditional Love Island dumping of the whole series, where someone just picked someone else over the other person. And I always say that, like, had it have been a situation where Hannah genuinely just picked Pepe over me, it would have sucked. It would have sucked, but it would have been fair game.
Yeah.
It would have been fair game, and I would have just had to accept it. There would have been no call to be like, oh, justice for Chart, bring him back. You know, I would have had to accept it. So in a way, going out like that kind of, you know, created a whole other thing, man. But yeah, Jeremiah came, stood on business, as you guys say out here. Do you know what I mean? You know, so
That's funny. Yeah. Was there anyone in the villa that you like genuinely didn't get along with?
I think there was just people that like you didn't speak to, you know, like, you know, I never really had a relationship with Huda. You know, there was just some people in there that people need to understand as well. Like, you're all a bunch of strangers. You can't expect everyone to come out of there being friends.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to be best friends with everybody after. People are different. You know, you're handpicked and selected by, you know, producers. So, you know, people aren't going to be, you're not going to have deep conversations or create connections with everybody. But yeah.
Yeah. Did, you were never on the show with Brian, right?
No, I was not.
Yeah. So you have no relationship with him?
Funnily enough, though, Brian was in the balcony next to me when I got dumped. And he was like, hey, yo, you're Charlie, right? And I'm sitting there just smoking a cigarette. Probably shouldn't say this, but... And he was just like, yo, they did you dirty, bro. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I'm like, good luck in there, man. Good luck in there, man. Have fun in there. And he went on to win with Amaya, man. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like. That was like the controversy a lot of people talked about with like him winning the show, like how it was like whoever was just going to ride Amaya's coattail to the end and stay with her was going to win it.
I think Amaya won Love Island.
Yeah.
Amaya won Love Island. She
was
captured
American.
the heart of the nation.
She was America's sweetheart.
She was, and I said this about Amaya from the start. Amaya was so, again, another girl a person who I think is really just, you know, at the forefront with her emotions as well. Like you're going to get the natural reactions and stuff like that. And I think she's a unique character, and I think people really liked it.
I know her personally. She's from Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah, she's from. She is like that in real life. That's the thing. And what I get was, I didn't watch the show in full, I'll be honest, but what I get from you is that you're just very down to earth. Okay. And it comes out. And she was also just like that.
Yeah, man.
Like, didn't let the show turn her into somebody that she's not. She just went there and just literally was just bare her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just
and I could commend that. You too, like I could applause that, because I can only imagine how difficult that is.
You have to. And look, she had a slow start. She had her ups and downs. At times there were tears shed, you know what I mean, for her. So she really went through a journey, because I think people, you know, so, you know, it's pretty amazing and incredible to see that girl that came in, you know, to just go on and win it. Because I remember I spoke to Amaya before Hannah, and I remember thinking, oh, she's great. She's really great. And, you know, like she was just so cool. So she went on and did her thing, man. And and when, so.
Crazy.
Talk about like the friendships you built with Jeremiah and Austin and Zach and these guys, because you're coming from a different part of the world. All you guys are from different parts of the world, all different backgrounds, different personalities. And it seems like the time you guys spent in the villa, like now you have friends for life.
Yeah, man. I think, me, Austin and Jeremiah, we've really been very close since leaving the villa. It's fun, it's cool. It's interesting because I never would have thought, like, I remember when I first went in, I didn't know, like literally my first impressions, like when I was speaking to Jeremiah, I didn't know what he'd be like. All I see is this like really sort of Americanized, good looking dude. I'm like, is this guy going to be like the villa? I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? You don't know, like, but what people didn't see in there, he was actually got a great sense of humor. Because his journey was so focused on him and her, I think people didn't get to see, his funny side and the jokes we'd have, and we'd battle rap each other every time, like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. And then Austin, who I loved in there, he was like, obviously this, for me, I think me and Austin used to joke around saying like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, we're so, again, another person that's just unapologetically himself. People like that. And, now we kind of kick it in LA. And I think if I move to LA, that's who will be the two people that I'll kind of be like, going to the gym, my friends, do you know what I mean? And, all the other guys as well. There's other guys, there's not, maybe not necessarily people that I text on a daily basis, but it's always love when we see each other. Do you know what I mean? It's, but yeah.
Did the show ever affect your like mental health, anxiety, depression, like once you got off of it?
No, I wouldn't say the show affected that. I wouldn't say the show affected my mental health, other than just the natural feelings of whatever the situation or drama that was coming on after it, because there was drama that lingered, but nothing like, what people say online or anything like that. Because to be honest, guys, coming from an acting background and doing professional bits in England as well, I've done stuff before where there was online. I've never been afraid of cameras. I've never been afraid of performing on cameras and being in the public eye. I've never been afraid of that. So that doesn't really affect me like that. I think it's more just, I just partied hard after. I messed up with a girl as well. When I first came out of the show, there was a girl, man, and she was great. Like, she was really, really cool, beautiful girl, great personality. And she genuinely wanted what was best for me. And, she was kind of she was cool. And I think I just kind of, it was so fresh and early on, man. I was just the only Islander out at the time other than Bella. And then I think as the show started to end and people came out, and I would say I kind of got caught up in the excitement and attention and what comes with the aftermath of being on a show and stuff like that. And I kind of like messed things up a bit there. But in hindsight, I tried to think like, again, it's one of those things that like, it just happens, doesn't it? So that was kind of a situation where I was like, that sucks. Do you know what I mean? It's dating after, bro, that I don't understand how I'm supposed to do that now. I can't just jump on Hinge again. You know what I mean? Hinge is kind of done now, man. Yeah. The thing that created me.
Are you worried? Are you worried that you'll like never find your person?
Dude, like, you know what, man? Like sometimes I'm like, well, when am I? Firstly, I'm not going to be able to date properly until I know where I'm situated here. Yeah,
that's true.
Secondly, then it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I know I want to. I think, the casual stuff gets a bit empty and samey.
Redundant, yeah.
Right? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I wonder, because bro, sometimes I feel I'm a bit of a weirdo. You know what I mean? Not in a weird way, not in a creepy way. Like, like you're not. Yeah, man. Like, I'm saying everybody's got a certain type of person that they're going to be able to work with, right? But what I'm learning is right, I think people expect the perfect person to be put in front of them. I think they expect every box to be ticked, but in reality, that's not going to happen. I think what happens is it's a partnership, right? And I think along that journey of being together, certain traits off each other, rub off on each other, and then over time, those boxes get filled, you know? For example, say if somebody's a vegetarian, the other person isn't, and they live together, over time, that person that's not a vegetarian might really start to like vegetarian food through eating with their partner. And now they're like, actually, I want to, you know, there's traits. I think you work with it, you know, and my thing is, I think you've got to understand that you're not just going to get the perfect person thrown at you. It's a process. It's a whole thing. It's a partnership. Yeah. And that's what I'm learning. But yeah, dude, to cut the story short, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? I'm screwed. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Hopefully, bro.
Nah,
Have you guys got girls? Have you guys got partners?
No. It's scary.
Yeah.
And it's scary
we
to think
talk about that
as,
question a lot.
Yeah, all the time.
All the
And
time.
just especially as men, right? And I think it's a little different. I think we know immediately. Men know immediately when a girl is for them. You can have one conversation with them, or maybe just off the way that they look, and you know, like, this is someone I would want to pursue and take serious, or this is something that I can't. Women don't typically know that right away. Women like start to like you more over time. Once you start to unravel your layers and they get to know you on a deeper level, they become more attracted to you, and maybe they see you as a leader or a provider or this masculine, you know, right? But like men, we know right away. And it's just like, how many women are we going to come across where it's just like, nope. And it's just like, damn, like when, but you know, but it's hard because like you just said, we're not gonna, our perfect person isn't just gonna walk right in front of us. But I'm just scared. Like, I don't want to settle.
Same.
I don't want to settle. And it's like, until I know that this is something I want to do, I'm not going to do it. So I think I'm my own worst enemy in that, because I probably,
as in settle down. Or settle for someone that you're not sure is the one.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm at the age now, you know, if we've had a bunch of relationships, we've had serious relationships, we've had heartbreaks, you know, I'm 28, 30,
31,
28, you know? It's like, I mean, I'm not ready right now, but I don't want to do another 3-year fling and then now I'm 31 and now I got to do it all, you know, and I know there's no right way to do it, but it is scary as a man in your late 20s, early 30s, where it's like.
That's the scary part. Yeah, it's the scary part where you feel the pressure of, should I have had something serious by now? Especially, I've never had a relationship as well. So I hear you, and I worry, you know, and I think to girls sometimes, is that going to come across as a red flag? You know, are they going to think, well, does he know how to, you know? So I hear you. I think, again, it just comes down to, I do agree as well. You can kind of tell within 5 minutes if you're vibing with someone, you know? You know, I think it's just a matter of, like you say, you got to work on it, work with that person. And then, you know, she'll come, bro. She'll come. But also, we have to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, you gotta be.
We can't expect it to just come to us. Maybe very rarely does, you know, maybe, you know, the rom-com thing of I go to get a coffee and I look up and I lock eyes with this girl and we have that, you know.
Yeah.
The reality is, you know, and nowadays, bro, it's a lot of online dating. I think, you know, our generation, we've become very scared to approach girls, especially so like, you know, guys do it in clubs, but they do it in clubs because they get drunk because they can. But, you know, to actually approach a girl today and be like, hi, by the way, I think, you know, so I think it just comes down to that, putting yourself out there and hoping. But if you don't feel you're ready, that's another thing, by the way, bro. It's a good point. I never felt I was ready. I felt like I always wanted to give the best version of myself, because I think that's what I always felt the girl that I was with deserved, the best version of myself. But we're always on an ongoing journey, right? Of bettering ourselves anyway. And
sometimes that girl can help you get there.
100%,
Most of
dude.
the time, I would say.
100%.
100%. I mean, listen, I'm 31. I'm going to be 32 next year. Last year, I saw 2 of my best friends get married. This is like a dead horse because we talk about this so much, but I get scared all the time, bro.
Yeah,
I get scared all the time, especially that other thing. Like, I'm coming out of a 6-year relationship, right? I'm single for 8 months.
Wow. Okay.
And I think sometimes, like, being 31 years old, single, red flag. You know, 31 years old, why is he single, right? And might not be, but I'm just saying it's just how I feel, right? And with my career, right? I'm a clothing designer and a podcaster. Like, It's taking time to get to where I want to get to.
A lot of dedication, focus,
it's just a lot of mental bandwidth that's got to go towards the creative, and I will not be with a person who doesn't add to that.
Yeah.
They have to add to that. If they take away from that, I don't have the luxury of you to take away from my creative focus, right? And I think it's so important, but also like you said before, number one, it takes two to tango, and number two, you got to be open to it. And I haven't been open to it. I've come across a lot of great women over the past 6 months. I haven't been open to it. I'm more open to it now because if you're not, you're never going to actually know. I do agree with you when it's like within 5 minutes, you kind of know if you want to pursue this person, but it takes a little bit longer to know, okay, this works. Right. So you got to put the time in, but I'm putting the time in on a lot of other shit too.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be nice if it can connect at some point. I would love that rom-com. Look up at a coffee shop, lock eyes, and we fall in love. It's highly unlikely. You know what I mean? And I've kind of been there before. Not coffee shop, just like working with her, whatever. But I get it, and it's hard, bro. It's hard. Listen, this is gonna sound emasculine, but it's hard to be a man sometimes. Especially in this day and age where, like you said, I am not the guy that will try to pull a girl in a club, in a dark club drunk. It just was never me, and it never will be me.
Yeah,
I want to have a conversation with you. Let's go to coffee. Let's learn about each other. Obviously, the attraction has to be there, but that's very quick. You know, if you're attracted to somebody physically, literally within a couple seconds of seeing, you know, it's the other attraction that takes some time. What does she think about? What's her mindset? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Conversation. And I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, bro, because 6 months after a 6-year relationship is very fresh, bro.
No, yeah,
that's very fresh. And I agree. It's conversation. I want to, you know, I've been on dates with girls that are like hot, but there was nothing there, you know, there was nothing there. And it's because at the end of the day, I want to be able to have a conversation. Let's talk about the world. Let's discuss. I want you to have personality. I want, you know, and yeah, I do agree as well. If you are in a creative field, then you kind of might, sometimes it's easier to be with someone that understands that field more.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
To know that, like for instance, right? Maybe not today because I'm in a great mood today, but usually like if I wasn't in a good mood and we had to record a pod and I had to snap into a good mood from a bad mood, when I get out of here, I don't want to talk to anybody. Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like the girl's not going to really understand that. Hey, how was the pod? What did you guys talk about? Shorty, I don't even remember what we spoke about. I was snapped into a good mood and I wasn't in a good mood before that. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take the right person to understand that. In general, just being with somebody that's a creative entrepreneur. It would be different if, let's say, I had a 9 to 5 and I was creative on the side. That's not the case. I'm a creative entrepreneur 24/7. I don't work 9 to 5. I work when my eyes open to when my eyes go to sleep. And sometimes when I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, I'm working. Yeah, because I'm thinking about shit, you know? So it's tough. I could see, and I've said this before too, how I would and probably am a very difficult person to be with. But when the time comes, if we do lock in, I am the best person to have on your side. But it'll take a long time to get there.
Right. How are the women are the women better in Europe than America?
Passport bros? That's where we gotta go. Passport bros?
What do you mean by better?
I mean, you've been around enough American women, and I'm not putting them all in one bubble. Of course, there's a great plethora of American women, but there is there's just like a norm with just a lot of American women where it's just a lot of them have the same tendencies, and it's like a lot of social media, and it's not very traditional, and it's a lot of they like flexy stuff, right? And I'm sure there's that in Europe too. But I've just seen, for the most part, and a lot of men that date in Europe and on that side of the world, they just say like the women are a lot more traditional. They're a lot more feminine. They're a lot more like, bro, like motherly, and like they want to be like there's no like women empowerment and I need to be a leader and I'm going to be this CEO entrepreneur. You know, it's like, what's the difference between European women and American women from you being in both?
So I think when you talk about those sort of, I think they're maybe referencing more to like maybe girls from maybe the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe maybe. But you know, the UK is a Western country too. So we do, you know, we are a social media driven place as well, content and stuff. I think that, you know, we do see all these clips of, you know, all these viral moments online of certain, you know, girls saying whatever, but I just think it's the type of, you know, I think you're gonna it's about age and the type of people you go after, man. And for me, I've found that now my dating pool is in America. I find the girls that I want to, the girls with a nice person, nice traits. And I do think American girls are gorgeous too. But I think, the UK and America and Australia, it's a Western country, it's a Western society, but we all want the same things. We can all get caught up in the same things. People can be flexy, people can, But I don't know, man. For me, I think the only difference would probably be at times when I try to flirt, maybe it goes over their head because the British way is a bit more sarcastic. And I might say something and they might take it, oh really? Like, is that? And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, no, that was supposed to be a joke. And like, it's just completely gone wrong. But, in general, I think maybe that's a situation of just what sort of person are you going for? And, because then there's guys that are like that too, man, I think. But in general, I think you're going to get, there's a difference just maybe in humor and stuff like that for the UK and America.
Right.
Yeah.
I think some of the most beautiful women I've ever come across on social media were in Australia.
Oh, Australia.
Oh my,
Australia is no joke.
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm scrolling. I sent it to Z all the time. I literally sent it to you the other day. I'm on my Explore page. Oh, she looks good. Sydney. Australia. I'm like, Z, I think we got to go to Australia, bro.
And then you said,
what you said.
I was like, all right, 2026.
It looks like we're spending 3 weeks in Australia next year. You know what I'm saying?
Because Australia as well, they're also health driven. They're by the beach. Right. Everybody's, there's the surfing. Australia is a great country, man.
I don't know if I could do the accent though.
Yeah, okay, so dude, I can't because my mum's got the accent. So I've never been able to, like, whenever I had an issue, and it sounds ridiculous, but when I first started being with Australian girls and I heard their accent and it sounded like my mum, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I can't do this. I can't do that. Yeah. But if you're not into the accent, I love accents, bro. So the New York accent's wicked. I love it, yeah. I was just...
Can I hear one, please?
Yeah, you got a New York accent?
Just give me a New York character, please.
Oh shit, bro! But I think if I
don't
do
want to
one,
put you on the spot,
I feel like if I do one, it would be like a New York Italian. Like,
absolutely,
get the fuck out of here! You busted my balls. Don't be a jerk off. Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
That was good.
That was great.
That was great. That's exactly what would be said.
And I think it's iconic, that accent. But yeah, I think the American accent is much more feminine.
Yeah.
Not on guys. I mean with the girl. The girl.
Yeah.
So I think it's hot. I think it's hot, man. I said, the first time, this is crazy. The first time a girl called me daddy in an American accent, it was, I can never look back, what I mean?
Stop. That's amazing, bro.
And that's why.
That'll get you.
That's why I'm staying here. Forever.
They don't say that in England.
If I go, it would probably tell me to piss off in England. If I said, No, it's just, what it is, right? I'm playing, but the American accent I find very attractive. I do find it really attractive. I do find girls really attractive in America. And their humor. And like now, bro, like realistically, I've been in America now since Love Island. Since Love Island, I've been around American girls. And since Love Island, I've been in America. And this is kind of what I'm starting to get used to now. I can't remember the last time I spoke to a British girl in that way. I think this is it now. Green.
I remember when I first met Harry, we were at Carbone with a bunch of mutual friends, and I sat down, I was talking for 10 minutes, and he was just like, kept looking at me. And he's like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never heard anybody sound like that in person in my fucking life.
Yeah, bro.
And it made me like...
You guys are movie characters to us. You guys are movie characters to us.
Oh, these guys looking at me like I'm Tony Soprano, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, dude.
And bro, it's funny because I love the UK accent. Like my favorite show was Top Boy.
Oh, sick. You like that?
Bruv, taking a piss.
Yeah.
In it, bruv. Yeah. I love that. Like, and then like at the end of everything, it's like, I love that.
That's a good one to know.
Yeah. But I don't know if I could date a girl
from the UK
with like a heavy accent.
Yeah.
I think I've spoke to a girl from Australia, got some voice notes, was like, This is gonna get annoying after a little while. It was cool, like in the beginning. It's like, wow, this is new, this is fresh. And then after like the third day, I'm like, dude, I don't like this.
I don't know what you're saying.
So that's the thing. It's not for everybody. Yeah. That's why, you know, it's not the most common thing in the world. You know, people are used to, it's okay. And it ties back to Love Island. Comfortability is huge in there. Comfortability, because the American accent is what you know. American girls is what you know, their traits. You know, I've had to get used to it. I've had to kind of, you know, in a way, I got thrown in the deep end because I had to do it on TV. I had to learn how to like back, you know, so comfortability is huge. And I agree with you, you know, maybe the accent isn't the one for you, you know what I mean? Maybe, and it can, you know, humans are humans. I'm sure that, you know, people get turned off about things on surface level all the time. It is what it is, man. There are accents out there. I mean, bro, where I'm from in England, my accent is considered not nice, and I don't have the strongest regional accent from Birmingham, but the Birmingham accent gets terrorized in England because we sound dumb and we sound stupid. It was only until Peaky Blinders came out that it kind of put us on the map, and people were like, because Cillian Murphy looked, you know, all the girls fancy him. They're like, oh my God, I want you know, a Birmingham accent. It's like, if you actually go to Birmingham though, and you hear some of these, it's thick, you know what I mean? But yeah, I hear you, man. I think it comes down to what you know and comfortability, and, you know, it would be different, you know, because you'd be dating someone from a different country. At the end of the day, we do speak English, but there are some cultural differences between the UK and America.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips, man. Grew up in the fish and chips.
You said keen to me. You said I'm keen to do this.
Keen to do this. Do you guys not say keen?
No, dude, I had to look it up. I went, bro, I swear, typed in, what does keen mean? And then
That's
it was
hilarious.
or like fancy, you know, or something
fancy,
like
yeah. You don't say that. What would you say instead of keen? I'm intrigued. What would be your equivalent to keen?
So
I'm eager.
You said I'm keen to do this. So like, I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited about this. I'm hyped.
I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. Yeah, like stuff like that. But it was funny when you said keen, I was like,
So I can't wait.
I don't know if he actually wants to come on or not.
I can't wait for you to get your first acting role playing a New York Italian. You're gonna kill it,
bro. You know what, man? I'm obsessed with The Sopranos, yeah. And I worry that, you know, I'm really upset that since The Irishman is the era of mafia films and that kind of thing coming to an end, and I'm scared because you know, it was such an iconic era. And when I do think of New York, I think of New York Italians. I think you're one of the most iconic cultures in the world. The American New York Italian accent's iconic, made famous through all those mafia films and stuff like that, you know. But bro, 100%, they got to get me in it, man. You know what I mean?
Everything cycles, art cycles. I know that, like that. I 100% get what you're saying, where that era of mafia movie is kind of coming to a close, but at some point, it'll wrap back around.
Yeah,
it will.
Because it's so iconic, like you said.
Even fashion's coming back. Don't you think the 2000s fashion's back now? The baggy jeans,
the
baggy jeans.
100%.
It's all coming back.
It happens with everything.
And we do it. I think our generation does a real good job of, what's the word? Romanticizing eras. We really romanticize eras, we do. And we can do it so
nostalgia.
powerfully that we bring back stuff. I'm wearing wired headphones again, man. I'm wearing wired headphones because apparently they're the Bluetooth fries your brain or something. Yeah, I'm getting kicked out. You know what I mean? And they look cooler. All right, I don't care. It's a thing. Now. It makes me feel like I'm in the 2000s again. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man.
The wired headphones is like a fashion thing now.
It's a fashion thing. We're back, baby.
Like rock one in. You're like, well, you got the wire. It like does kind of look fresh.
It's back, dude.
It just goes back to that thing that we were talking about. I truly believe unbiasedly that we were born and grew up in the absolute greatest time that you could, because we had both. We played Manhunt, but we also didn't know what it was like to have a phone. We didn't have beepers, but we also had flip phones, and it was perfect, bro. It was perfect.
It was, man, like the Sony Ericssons. You have Sony Ericssons out here as well.
What's that, like a
It was a mobile
player?
phone. Maybe it must have been a UK Sony Ericsson phone.
I've heard of that before, for sure. Yes.
But you had the Motorola's, right? The flips.
Yes, the flip phones.
All razors.
And
The
Sega, the razors.
the prepaids.
And then we had Blackberries,
well, we had. I don't know if you had the Sidekick.
Yeah, I didn't have AT. You needed T-Mobile or AT&T.
T-Mobile. Yeah. But the BlackBerry was a crazy era. BBM was a crazy era, and then iPhone just took over.
iPhone just took over.
That was it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, now it's crazy.
BlackBerry was my high school era.
Yeah, literally. And people would ping you.
Yeah,
people would ping me in class to get you in trouble because it would vibrate if you had your phone on.
It was like the first instant messenger on your phone before like AIM profiles or MySpace.
But that's why the Sidekick was so insane, because it was the first time you used AIM on the Sidekick. It was the first time that you literally could talk to anybody in your pocket easily.
Yeah.
You could have texted on the flip phone, but it was difficult.
When you had to do the different
1, 2, 3.
letters.
Took you 10 minutes to write a whole sentence on the Sidekick. First of all, it was cool when you flipped it open, you typed it, you put it back in your pocket. That really changed everything.
Yeah.
Communication-wise. But I also think it kind of fucked shit up because things got too accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
People
100%.
got way too accessible, and then it turned into information got way too accessible. I saw a Harvard business professor talk about this on YouTube the other day for 10 minutes. He was like, the new generation is never bored, and that's a really bad thing. Yeah. You have to be bored. You have to have a time where you're not stimulated or overstimulated, right? And it was so amazing. And part of me thinks that accessibility of being able to communicate like that or get information like that is not good.
Yeah.
We should have never like I talk about this when Charlie Kirk died. We should have never seen that video.
No.
The video was everywhere. We should have never seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Desensitized.
We're just desensitized to everything. And it's fucked up.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's tough.
You know, I think as well why, you know, our parents get confused why when a lot of us say stuff like we feel down and we feel, you know, depressed and stuff, but they didn't grow up being able to watch people's lives. Yeah. So say if you are working a job that you're not happy with, then you go online and you see some 18-year-old kid making $1 million doing something, you're going to think, what am I doing wrong? And it's going to get you down, right? But the reality, you're not supposed to probably see what he's doing with his life. Our parents didn't. No. Our parents, if you saw a girl that you liked, you had to approach them. Otherwise, you may never see them again. Because, you know, if you went on a night out with your mates back then, man, and one of them got drunk and went, he's gone, bro. Do you know what I mean? There's no, yo, where you at?
Where are you?
So yeah, we kind of are exposed to everything, man. We see everything. You can go on, you see someone's life, see what they're doing, then you start comparing. What do they say? Comparison's the thief of joy. We've got that right, 100%. Something like that. That's the problem, right? So I think, yeah, man, we do have a lot. And then for people like us who need social media to do our thing, we're kind of stuck.
That's the flip side. We probably, we wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for social media. So it's like, where's that middle ground? And I don't think it exists. We just have to figure out when to lean to the left and when to lean to the right.
Yeah.
Right? On that line, on that spectrum. But it's tough.
Yeah. How much has like your life changed on the phone from coming out of the show?
I'm addicted.
Instagram.
Yeah, I'm heavily addicted now. You know, like I think I'm just always thinking about what content to make. And don't get me wrong, not in a bad way. I really like to do like photo shoots with themes and stuff. So if I'm in, say, a southern state, I want to do something that's based around that. If I'm in, so I love all that stuff. I love creating and getting feedback on that. But then also now it's like there's so much going on that you're kind of looking at it as well. And, you know, it is what it is. So that's just something I've noticed now. I'm a bit more glued to my phone, but it's all going to change, man, when I get situated. I know it, bro, because my situation's been more different because I'm not an American citizen. I haven't been able to just rent out a place and guarantee that I can be there for 6 months because I can't. You know, I've got to go back to London soon and finish my visa. So I've literally been bouncing around to round. I barely go to the gym now, which is killing me. You know, I'm barely eating. And I haven't got that routine of my local gym, going to the supermarket, you know, having those times where it gets a bit more blocked out, where there's less time to look on the phone. Instead, I'm traveling. Well, when you're traveling, what do? You either read or you're on your phone. Then I'm checking into a hotel. So I'm lying in bed on my phone. Then I'm going out and I'm taking, you know, so right now it's just social media, man, and stuff like that. But it will balance out when I get my routine.
Yeah, I'm excited
back.
for you. For I'm assuming next year you're gonna get situated somewhere here.
Hopefully,
I'm excited
bro.
for that to happen.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I'm in decision of like LA or New York.
Okay.
And everyone's advising me to do LA for at least a year. And don't get me wrong, somewhere where it's sunny all year round is really nice. And like you say, there's pockets where you can live. Oh, yeah. But there's something about New York, man, that when I walk through, I don't know if you guys think like people that romanticize New York are jerk offs, like you'd say, do you know what I mean?
No.
Because
we take it for granted.
We do.
Like there's still times where I'll walk around New York. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best place ever.
It's incredible, bro. Like you've got all these amazing, cool buildings and there's something about the energy here and the people and then the fashion. And, you know, I also think the New Yorkers have more of a similar thing with Brits, with banter. You guys bust balls or break balls. We take the piss. Do you know what I mean? You guys are a bit more similar in that sense, man. And New York is an easier way to transition to with the fact that it's a walkable city. London is, you know, I like waking up, going downstairs, walking, getting a coffee. But I also know in a few months' time it's going to be freezing, and we're all going to be sitting in our rooms, like so.
Yeah, January to March is a little rough here.
Yeah,
Seasonal depression kicks in.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was real until the last couple of years because I was always away at college playing like college basketball.
oh, sick.
And then once I graduated, I was back home and I was like, oh, this is New York winters. Like holidays is great. Like this time period from right
best.
now, Thanksgiving, then you go to the city, everything's all lit up, all the Christmas stuff. Dude, after New Year's, it's a scary place to be.
January 2nd
And
is the
this
worst
is
day of the year.
why realistically, LA is probably going to make more.
Yeah,
It's going to be warm.
Yeah. You go there for a year. You go there for a year. You're an actor. You're a model. That's where you should be. You'll make a lot of connects, but eventually you'll be like, all right, it's time.
And then you move to Long Island. And then he'd make the move to Long Island.
South Brooklyn.
I think didn't like Pete Davidson, the comedian. He's
Staten
Island. Okay,
You don't want
but
to be
he
there.
moved back though. But
don't
he
wanna be
moved
there.
back to the East Coast. I've noticed a lot of some actors and even Mac Miller. Rest in peace. Loved Mac Miller, man.
Pennsylvania.
Me too.
Yeah, when Mac Miller wanted to get sober and escape all the madness, he moved to New York. There's something about this city, man, that I think certain people just enjoy the vibe more from it. You
It's the
get
best city
something
in the
out
world.
in a different way, you know what I mean? So where I'm staying right now, though, I got to get out of the central. It's killing me.
I'm glad that you're like, in a way, have you ever stayed there before?
No.
So I'm glad, like, in a way,
I've learned.
it needs to get worse before it gets better. Like, yes, that's the worst place you could be.
Soho's, but this is the
Soho's
only
the
thing,
best.
but New York's so expensive, man.
Yeah.
When we were on the phone, I was telling you
crazy,
how
bro.
crazy
Yeah,
it
no,
is,
I've realized now it's no joke because then you look at what you can get in LA for something, and it's like, so that's the only thing, man. But phenomenal city, phenomenal place to be from. Like you say, maybe sometimes you take for granted because you're from here, you're used to it. But then, like, there's a reason why everybody's obsessed with it.
Oh,
Do you know what
I
I mean?
don't appreciate it until I leave and travel and then come back. Like when we came home from Miami a couple weeks ago, oh man, I couldn't wait to come
But
home.
do you like Miami?
No.
Are you a bit more introverted, bro?
Yes.
You are, aren't
Yes,
you?
yeah.
So you don't like the, I mean, and if anything,
I hate the
flexing there is just going to piss you off, isn't it?
A little bit. I don't like the weather.
Wait,
at
hold
all.
on. You don't like the
It's
weather?
way too fucking hot.
He's
It's just not for me, man.
It's too much.
It's
Yeah,
not-
that's hilarious.
Miami is the
beautiful, bro.
worst.
Bro,
Miami
Miami
is
is
the
cool.
most overrated city in America.
Whoa.
I think that's
Whoa.
Miami
that.
also has its pockets.
Okay, that's crazy. That's the only thing that's going viral. now.
Miami has its pockets too.
I like
though.
Miami.
Big health. The weather's beautiful.
Exactly. People look past the health and well-being side. Do you know Elan? You just did Elan. Yeah. Bro, there's a whole health. I went there. I thought it was really clean. I was like, holy wait, this place is really clean.
It
it's
is,
really
for sure,
warm.
yeah.
Everyone's gorgeous.
Beautiful women everywhere.
Everyone's
wearing nothing.
right. And but you'd have to have your head screwed on. Otherwise, I think you could easily get caught up in the. Do you know what I liked about Miami, bro? It makes me feel like the closest thing to like being in a European Mediterranean country in America because of the Latin influence and the Cuban influence and stuff. And I love that because, going yearly to Cyprus and, so I think it's like a hybrid. It's like the most hybrid city in America, man. But that's interesting that you don't like warm weather. See,
I like warm weather. I don't like fucking excruciating heat.
humidity.
It's so hot.
Still now.
No, I'm saying you go there right now. It's like 77, 80. It's beautiful.
See, I don't know that 70s. I know
That's
the
why I
degrees.
love LA.
Like
I
the
love
winter.
LA.
So the winter, that's why a lot of New Yorkers go down to
They go
South
down
Florida
there. Yeah,
for
yeah.
6 months.
Yes.
Because right now it's like 70, 80. You might get an 85-degree day, but it's beautiful down there. And then, then you come back up here for the summer. But yeah, the summers in Miami are brutal. It's 100 degrees. It's humid.
I
That's why
just
these
would
places
truly
do.
love to be in LA. I love it. No, don't get me wrong. Like I would need to have a place here no matter what so I can come home.
Yeah.
But I love LA so much strictly because of the weather. It
Yeah.
could be 50 at night and 70 during the day. And I just don't think it gets any better.
No,
than
it's
that.
No,
it's
that's
nice.
why I think people know deep down that they would always, pardon me, want to go back. Everyone wants to go back. LA is great, man. Like where else in the world are you going to find a place where it's going to be warm all year round? And I was just in there in October and it's like, you can get away with wearing some full fashion in the evening.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I need, by the way. I think seasons separate and give you a reset. Don't get me wrong, the height of winter's brutal. Nobody likes the height of winter, but there's something about autumn, spring. Basically, I love everything but winter.
Yeah, so-
winter sucks ass.
Yeah.
But I think, you want to be able to wear a hoodie and stuff
Sure.
like that.
I think the seasons are very important too.
But LA is difficult because I think for me, coming from the UK where things are a bit more condensed and together, it's a really driving city and you've got to know where you're going. And mate, I haven't even drove since I've been here. I want to take some lessons because it's the other side of the road and that. Yeah, bro. And I know I've only been driving a year. So I just feel like if I just raw dog it and go straight onto the roads of LA where there's like 5 lanes, you guys turn right on a red, that confuses the shit out of me. Well, I would have held up traffic and those guys go crazy.
Can't do that in the 5 boroughs, by the way. So you're a New Yorker, I feel like.
Do you reckon I am?
You go to LA, you're gonna go to LA for work and you do your thing and you go there and you make your connects and you make your money and then eventually you're gonna come to New York. And I reckon, right, you're never gonna leave here.
I need you as my life coach, bro.
I'm not the life coach, but if you find one, maybe we could do the life coach together.
For sure. That's the aim, brother. That's the aim now. Now, like I was saying, now the real challenge is coming now of like, you know, now I need to get my visa sorted, then I get the acting agent, and then we go from there. And then, you know,
absolutely,
we work, baby, and we see where it goes.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yeah.
This is dope, man.
This
I
was
appreciate
amazing,
you coming
bro.
on.
Thank you for having me,
This
man.
is a good chat.
Is it all right? Yeah, good chat. It was
a good chat,
There you go, lad. There you
And
go.
it kind of that fits with the Love Island, like pulled you for a chat.
We pulled Charlie for a chat.
He pulled me for a chat. We had a chat. How did I do? Is it all right?
It's great, bro.
Oh, you did amazing.
Yeah,
Did I
I'm
speak
glad we
right?
got. Yeah, bro. I'm glad we got to make this happen. I know we've been like just scheduled, just all
Bro,
over.
and I apologize because
No,
it's
it's all
so
good,
like
dude.
sporadic. You know, like I literally was just in New York, then I had to go to Tampa.
How'd you like Tampa?
Tampa's cool. Tampa's kind of like a small
Watered down Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I say. I go to
Right.
Tampa like twice a month.
Do you do?
Yeah. I love it there.
So Florida makes me feel like I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, there's something. I was like, bro, what? It's November and it's warm in the evening, and it was good fun. It was good fun. So yeah, Tampa's cool. But
Did you go out down there?
Yeah, I had an appearance.
Where?
So I had to go to a place called Echo downtown.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
cot, like
Yeah.
you know, because that's what sometimes like, you got to do the thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I first did it, I felt really uncomfortable because it's like, what? I just got to stand there and they want to come and meet me, and it's like, but it's part of the job at the moment now, and obviously I'm gonna get away from that, and then be doing my actual thing. But yeah, bro, like knowing Miami is just an hour away. I think I was thinking like, do I just go to Miami after? Because I wanted to run this with you guys. I knew I had to. I was like, this has got to be done. Try and do a bunch of other like content while I'm here, and then do I just go to Miami for a bit? Yeah, I like Miami, bro.
I like Miami. I might do one more Miami before the end of the year.
Enjoy.
Bro, the Airbnbs aren't even expensive.
Oh, not bad. Not
They're
bad at all.
Yeah, bro, I paid, dude. I paid about $800 for 3 nights in a hotel here. Like, that's crazy, bro. So that's the only thing, but it's all good. It's all gonna work out.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome, brother.
Thank you, bro.
brother.
Thank
Glad
you,
we got
guys.
to do this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this was fun, man. And yeah, now we can kick it off camera when you're
For
back
sure,
over
bro.
here.
For sure. I want to go to bro. Where can I get one of those like New York deli sandwiches where that guy does that thing?
Chopped cheese
Yeah, like one of those ones, the iconic ones in the shops.
with like the Ak.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
I don't know where he is. Where is he? He might be in Brooklyn.
I don't know.
I don't know
Bro's
where
probably
he is.
never in that shop
You know
anymore
where he
now.
is?
He's
No,
probably
no,
just
too big.
Oh, he's in the Bronx. You don't want to go to the Bronx, bro.
Bro, so someone took me. I went with someone, a local, because I really wanted to see the old Little Italy. And he took me, and I was like, "What happens if I go down there?" He was like, "Don't go down there." Yeah, he goes, "This is fine here with me." He goes, "But don't go down there."
Yeah, no
Yeah,
need.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
man.
it. Yes, sir, Charlie. Thank you, bro.